what I want to do now in respect to everybody's time, and I appreciate everybody's attention on this. I hope it's been informative. There's so much more to our grower program that if you're interested in it, you're going to learn, and we could keep talking. You know, I can tell that there's more to say about this right now. But it's to open it up for questions that any of you have. We do have literature. She wants to know if we have literature, and we do have literature on it. I've got some contact information up here. And if you're interested in our seed production program, come up and get some of my contact information, and then I can provide that information packet to you. Absolutely.
How interested are you in, for lack of a better term, unsolicited discoveries? We developed something, maybe something that normally grows in the north, we grow it in Texas, and we found a way of making it viable.
We're very, he said that he had developed a new variety.
No, I'm just saying we're constantly experimenting.
Okay, so he's always working in that, and we do have growers who have done selection work and have developed varieties. We have a submission protocol with our company. You submit it to us, and we trial it with the unwritten pledge that we will not market it without your participation. So we'll trial it, and if it's something that we think is a good fit for our company, then we will pursue growing it. And one other thing I like about the integrity of Baker Creek Seeds and working here is that it's also an unwritten policy that if you submit something to us and we like it and it becomes our desire to put it in our catalog, we will come back to you with the offer of raising the seed and selling the seed to us. We want you to be rewarded for your work. We have a grower in Montana who spent 30 years developing Papa's red corn. You guys have seen that in our catalog. It's the most gorgeous red colored corn you've seen. It only grows on plants that are short, like 55 days to harvest, of these beautiful big red ears, perfect color. He spent 15 years isolating those colors to get the color he wanted, and then 15 years after that stabilizing it to make sure that it always produced that. And he offered it to us first. He was so gracious and kind to us, and we were thrilled that he did that. But he had a lot invested into it, so I went to him, and he is our grower. It's an unwritten thing, but he's our grower for Papa's Red, and he sells it to us, makes thousands of dollars doing it. So yes, you had a follow-up question.
Well, we share a farm with our kids, and my daughter-in-law started a flower farm. So, and you're expanding your flower production. Does the same sort of thing apply to flowers?
Yeah, she's asking about flower production. If if we're having growers work on flowers, and if the same terms apply to that, and they do. We don't have as many flowers in our grower program because so many of them are available from commercial sources, and flowers are also a little bit tedious to harvest the seed out of. And so, Jan, you're doing several flowers for us this year, right?
I've got celosia, 2 celosia, and a morning glory that I'm doing.
Echinacea.
And echinacea, green twist echinacea.
So the answer is yes. We're interested in flowers. It looks like this year we had more flowers in our grower program than in previous years. So, was there a question over here? I saw a hand a while ago.
Yeah, I was just going to ask on. I'm assuming in the packet it'll have commitment to the grower and how you manage throughout the process, arrival of like crop failure. Or
Yes, it's a good question. Thank you. He asked if the information packet addresses how we deal with what happens if a grower should have a crop failure in other terms. The information packet touches upon it a little bit, but most of that, the answers to those questions are found in our contract, which is a 3-page document. It consists of a cover letter that has a whole bunch of information and terms in it, the main contract page, which is a single page with terms, and then our quota page, which defines what a grower gets paid, how much we want them to grow, and information such as what lot we sent to them, so we have a record of it. If we send seed to a grower, and let's say I wanted Jan to produce 100 pounds of a popcorn for us at $10 a pound, and she had a crop failure, and she was the only grower that's growing it, we can't put it in the catalog. We don't go to Jan and say, hey, you had a crop failure, you know, and you owe us and all that. We understand this is farming. Baker Creek Seeds appreciates that. There's risks involved in it. We're farmers ourselves, and we don't go after the grower for that. And it's stated in the contract that we don't. The contract is binding on us that if I say, Jan, grow 100 pounds of a popcorn, and she puts out the effort to cultivate her land, and she and her family get out there and they work their tails off to get it done. And then it comes time to ship it to us, and she calls me up, say, hey, I'm ready to ship the corn, and I can't say, we decided we're not interested in it anymore. You know, so that keeps us from doing that. So the contract has details in it that stipulate that. So yes, and there's many other terms. You know, if a seed comes to us and it doesn't pass the minimum federal standard for germination rate, I can't buy it. And that breaks my heart because I know that the growers most of the time will put a lot of effort into it. I try to remedy that by seeing if there's something about the seeds. For instance, if half the seeds are empty holes, that I can sort out of the good quality seed so that the grower does get something for their effort. And then we'll resubmit it to germination testing, like Will was talking about germination testing earlier. And so different terms like that are defined in our contract, but that comes later. Just because you get an information packet and a letter of intent from us doesn't mean that you're going to get an assignment from us, okay? We're doing our assignments earlier and earlier every year. Jan, when you first started with us, you were probably getting stuff really, really late. It was probably way into springtime before you even knew what you were growing.
Yeah, 2 tomatoes. My first contract was 2 tomatoes, and I was tickled to get that. You know, I was excited that.
Do you remember when you received your seed and the knowledge of growing them?
Oh gosh, it was late.
It was late, wasn't it? Probably
It was
April,
late.
when she should have started them back in February. So
Yeah, it was late.
we're trying to eliminate that and help our growers plan better by sending them their assignments earlier and getting their contract to them earlier. The majority of them were done this year in January, and I still had some to do in February. But most of those growers have been contacted already, so they kind of had an idea of what they were going to produce so that they could start planning and working out their gardens. Like Will said, that many of them don't just grow seeds, and you even said that too. Many of them just don't grow seeds. They have other things they want to do. So we can't captivate these people and hold them hostage because they're waiting to hear from us what we're going to grow. So we're trying to make the decisions on what growers are producing in the fall and winter time and get that information and the seed contracts and the starter seeds to them as quickly as possible so that they can start taking action on them immediately and start producing the seed. Yes, sir.
So does your seed have to be organically grown? I mean, say you have a spot of ground that's been commercially used for years, it would have to go through a process to become organic before it can be grown.
Okay, gentleman asked if we require our growers to have organic certification if it has to be organically grown. The answer to that is no. Many of our growers are organic operations. Many of them are not. Is your farm organic? It is organic. So
Mine is
she's
organic.
certified organic. Different states have different regulatory agencies that have different regulations for what it takes to be an organic farm. And Baker Creek Seeds used to sell a line of organic seeds. When I first came to work here packing seeds for the company, we had so much regulatory burden on us to carry that organic line. It was just a logistical nightmare for us. You had to warehouse your seeds in a totally different building. You had to use different equipment to pack the seeds. Even your empty packs couldn't be stored with the packs of non-organic line. It was really ridiculous. And so we discontinued that. But sir, what we do ask our growers, because we believe in natural, we believe in wholesome. We don't buy any chemically treated seed. We do ask our growers to do their best to grow things as organically as possible and naturally as possible. So we prefer you not use neonicotinoids on your crops. And there's so many growers, and you see the distribution of them. I can't go out there and do site visits. You know, do you guys are you able to do that with your growers, Will?
All the growers that we are presently using are actually certified organic.
Good.
I had the opportunity to become a consultant for a very wealthy Philadelphian who wanted to have an organic farm to produce. He wanted to produce veggies and things to sell to high-end restaurants. Well, and he said, you can grow roughwood seed collection things on your property. And when I planted the peas, nothing germinated in the soil. And I said, what's going on here? He said, well, this was a horse farm, and they used Roundup on the fields.
Oh, no.
I said, goodbye.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
I said, call me in 5 years, clean up your soil, because it was dead. It was like moon dust. So I'm very sensitive to that. And, of course, our our corn. We really, that's really, I get on my Monsanto hype when it irritates me that I have to hide my corn behind forests in order to grow it, to keep it clean. It's like the old days when you went into a restaurant and you had to smell everybody's cigarette smoke. I don't want to swallow their pollen. Thank you.
Yeah, very well put.